see. The other slide also talks about the balance scorecard. That's slide number 77. Balance scorecard. It's a strategic planning and management system to communicate and align strategy, prioritize.
I think I'm still seeing 76. Can you, if you
I
have
see
already switched it?
77.
Yeah, now I
Okay,
see
I
77.
can see 77.
Okay, thank you. I don't know what's there's the time lag. It's called what in technology? There's something called there's a terminology for it in technology. The kind of what causes the lag. I don't know what it is, but I mean I can't remember the name, but I know what it is. It happens in even in CCTVs. Okay. Anyway, the scorecard, we looked at it as one of their many frameworks. So according to what we call, there's a Balance Scorecard Institute. A Balance Scorecard is a strategic planning and management system that enterprises would use to communicate and align strategy, prioritize, and measure performance. So it has 4 perspectives usually. There's the financial, there's the learning, there's the process, and the customer. So again, now depending on your role in the enterprise, the financial, I mean the perspectives are weighted accordingly. If your role is more on customer, then you have a bigger weight on that customer. If your role is more on financial, you'll have weighting accordingly. If your role is more on processes, if your role is more on learning, etc. So it is used to develop metrics. It also used to collect data and also can be used or is used to analyze data, which is relative to each of the 4 perspectives. So that is a balance scorecard. Okay. So I think now we will be moving. Now we'll not have a break. We'll just move up to where we will finish. Unless you want a break somewhere, we almost another 1 hour. 5 minutes. Somebody said 1 minute, or we just go ahead.
Yeah, we can continue unless since there's someone who needs a break.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, just let me know in case you need a
I'm
break.
fine.
Because we are. Okay, so I think we can just carry on. So there's this activity on the governance and architecture role. This is slide number 78. An established multinational enterprise is working to rapidly shift services from operation and data centers in the countries in which it operates to centralized cloud services. You've heard of the cloud services. Management seeks to have minimal disruption of service and maintenance and maintain the existing control structures and processes until a business process transformation effort can be scheduled. So here we are saying that an established multinational enterprise is working to rapidly shift services from operation and data centers in the countries in which it operates to centralized cloud service providers. So you need to know what data centers are and what the operations are, and the fact that it's operating in certain countries. And it wants to centralize all these services to a cloud service provider. So management seeks to have minimal disruption to service and maintain disruption to service, and it also wants to maintain the existing control structures and processes until a business process transformation effort can be scheduled. So what is the most important role of governance and architecture relative to this project in the implementation relative to this project in the implementation phase, what is the most important role of governance and architecture relative to this project in the implementation phase? So 1 minute.
I would say C.
I would also go for C.
Okay, there are two C's.
There is no option ABC together. All of the above.
There's one coming ahead.
Okay. Logical will not work, so B, operational regulatory compliance. I think I go for A.
Okay, the correct answer is A.
Yeah.
Because
Thanks.
here now you are looking at management seeks to have minimal disruption to service and maintain the existing control structures. So the most important role of governance here is to maintain operational architecture and regulation compliance. You realize they are moving their services to the cloud. Okay.
Yeah. Because
so while moving,
I had a similar experience, so it's easy to answer. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Maybe share with us your experience. That will help us understand the question.
Yeah, because recently we implemented a project for an operator in Philippines, and we need to move to the transform from the logical to from the existing on-premise to the cloud actually, and without minimal disruption on the operations. So we maintain the operational architecture and just follow the regulatory compliance to perform this cloud migration. So we never spent efforts on some of those existing policies and process, but however we maintain this ensuring there is a regulation compliance and get the agreement from their cybersecurity operation group, and then try to use the existing operational architecture with third-party cloud providers involved, and then we try to migrate. Yeah, so this is the real-time scenario, so that's the reason I go with answer A before. If I'm not
So
undergone,
you didn't have to rewrite the security policies to the new environment?
No, not required. Not required. Because only thing, if you already have an existing operational architecture, which also comprises of your existing policy and process, the only thing you need to focus on the regulation compliance when you do this kind of what we call the quick win migration kind of solution. But if the similar project comes, then you have to go with option C. You know, that's also very important. So you have to operate in a dual operating system in this kind of cases. One is to fulfill the customer needs to ensure the schedule reliability, and at the same time you should think a little bit long term. So you need to review all your policies and procedures in order to operate those environment. So the right option should be A, and then go to C. Yeah. Logical architecture is also important, but nowadays, whichever the cloud providers, it already encompass all these logical architecture and how to configure in those cloud regions. So you don't need to put a specific effort or task on this point number B. Yeah. Okay. Thanks.
Thank you. And you also see from the question that management seeks to have the minimal disruptions and maintain the existing control structures and processes. So they don't want to, they are not yet ready to make any changes to the policies and procedures for now.
Yeah, because management may not be the right people to determine this, honestly, with no offense, actually, but usually this kind of thing should be evaluated by your cyber security operation or information security operation group. Actually, they are well aware. Actually, if you're going to introduce a new platform for services, they are the best people to determine from the information security point of view. And of course, the business owners or the technical experts can able to provide more guidance or direction, actually. So management, end of the day, they only focus on the ROI, return on investment, only focus on the P&L, profit and loss, actually.
Yeah, but you have to have their consensus, isn't it?
Yes, actually. So when I say management,
yeah, because you can't just you can't just move the services to the cloud without them knowing who is going to pay for that.
Sure, for sure. They only from the technical aspect, they may not be.
Yes.
Depends on organization to organization. So some people promoted from technical to management, they can understand, but for only they do the management, then they may not understand what we are talking. Yeah. Okay.
Good. Thank you very much. Thank you. That's good, and that's actually the essence of this program. When you share practical experiences like that, it now makes it easier to understand the question. It makes it easier to answer the question. When you encounter any similar question, then one would always recall an experience shared by a participant or a colleague. And that's the reason why I always would encourage each one of us to speak and share experiences. It actually helps a lot in passing the exam, as well as you are able to understand the question from the first principles. Thank you. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. We now move to strategic planning. I think this is the last section. We should be moving towards. If we finish this, then we'll finish. If we finish it before 8, then we'll have finished before the final time, 8 o'clock East African time. Then we'll just wind up. So here we are going to talk about strategic planning. I guess that is the last one. Yes, strategic planning is the last one. So when we talk about strategic planning, that is the final step in creating an effective information security strategy. Okay, so here we talk about the plans for implementing and maintaining the strategy. They should mirror those of the enterprise strategy itself. So through the workforce and organizational structure, through assurance of compliance with the mandatory requirements, and we have what we call the specific activities to accomplish responsibilities for protecting enterprise value. These areas can influence the success or failure of this initiative. So when we talk about workforce and organizational structure, so it comprises personnel security. This is an important area to consider. Trustworthiness and integrity of personnel. You know, the first line of defense is to try to ensure the trustworthiness of and integrity of the new and existing personnel. And like we said, most of the damaging compromises are usually the result of intentional or unintentional insider activities. So we need to have in place processes for ensuring that workforce, the in-house personnel, as well as the external service providers. They are people who have gone through programs that will ensure the trustworthiness and the integrity, because that should be part of the workforce and organizational structure. So also the organizational structure will have significant effect on developing an information security strategy. The organizational structure, it has an impact or effect on development of an information security strategy. So we talk about flexible and evolving structure is more useful in developing an IS strategy. There are situations where you have constrained structures. So this also would bring a challenge in the implementation of the plan. So for it to be effective, it must be aligned to the business rather than technology. Yeah. So I know there are those challenges that arise where information security or business continuity managers or those technology related roles want to report into technology. So we're talking about the information security to be effective, it must be aligned with the business rather than technology. And then you talk about the enterprise culture also affects many aspects of the strategy. So there are those cultures which you talk about centralization or decentralization. So there are benefits that come up out of centralization, which include, say, standardization of security, etc. But then we have situations where now the structure of the enterprise may make it an ineffective approach. So again, all depends on the structure of the enterprise. Okay. Then we talk about the assurance of compliance with the mandatory requirements. Here we look at audit and compliance enforcement, which we'll probably cover, maybe we'll cover it just ahead slightly. Then the activities to accomplish responsibilities. These things like gap analysis, definition of metrics and intermediate goals. These are other areas which we will talk about also, maybe in other slides later. So if we look at the workforce and composition skills, maybe moving to the next one. Workforce composition and skills. That is slide 1. Are we all there?
Yes.
Okay. So the IS strategy should consider key areas relating to the composition and skills of the workforce. These include employee roles, responsibilities, and skills. So the employee roles and responsibilities, here we're talking about information security manager should work with the HR director, for instance, to define all security roles and responsibilities, along with the related competencies required for each job position. Then you need to those then will need to be incorporated in the employee job description. And then we talk about then the annual job performance and objectives, which include security related measurements. So here we're basically defining all the security roles, the responsibilities, and the competencies. The IS manager will work with the HR to ensure these are all clear and incorporated in the job description. And therefore, at the end of the cycle, the annual job performance reviews will be conducted. And of course, you'll be looking at the security related measurements. Then there are what we call the skills required to implement a security strategy. These are important. It's an important consideration. The skills inventory can determine. We talk about skills inventory. It can determine the resources available in developing a security strategy. When you conduct proficiency testing, this may be useful to determine if the required skills are available or can be achieved through training. So I guess there are several ways of identifying proficiency in the enterprise to enable you then come up with a applicable workforce that can then now drive the information security agenda. Okay, so moving on next, we talk about here slide 82. Slide 82, we're talking about awareness training and continuing education. Here we note that security is often the weakest at the end user level. Hence, training, education, and awareness is of importance to the overall IS strategy implementation. So we talk about awareness training. So for most organizations, you find that the majority of personnel are not even aware of the security policies and standards, even where they exist. So a recurrent security awareness program must be implemented, which is usually aimed at the end users to reinforce the importance of information security in the enterprise. And in some jurisdiction, it is required by law that this be done. I don't know whether in your jurisdiction, is it a requirement to have security programs carried out? Is it a requirement in your territories?
I mean, it's not a requirement, but it's definitely good practice to have them these days.
Okay.
Not mandatory in our area. It's more of a guidance. It's more of an advice, but it's up to the respective organization's management.
Okay. But within the organization, you have a mechanism of confirming that these trainings have been done, isn't it?
Yes,
okay.
Yes. The organizations
and
where it is implemented strictly, it is quite strictly done. So it becomes part of the respective employees' appraisal.
And the staff would sign off having attended the trainings and awareness.
Yes.
Yes.
So
okay.
there are different types of training sessions. There are classroom trainings as well as online training. So the online trainings can be done at any time, anywhere, at the respective employees' leisure, and it is monitored and tracked. And there is a stipulated timeline within which it needs to be completed. If it's not completed, then it is, of course, escalated. There is an automated escalation report which goes to the respective line managers, who then take it up with the respective employees as to why and why not. And it becomes a part of the respective employees' yearly appraisals as well. So they make it mandatory in that way.
Okay. So then it means, therefore, that the staff cannot. Sorry?
No, the organization I worked, I think within 1 month you need to clear those onboarding process, including your organization-wide information security, the data security, cyber security, data privacy. There are 4 or 5 exams which employees should finish within 1 month. If not, organization has a right to terminate without notice. Yeah, that's how it works. Yeah, because I'm talking about the Chinese. Yeah, the Huawei actually. Huawei mandatory for all employees within 1 month of joining. They should finish all these study course and certification. Actually, this is part of their learning management system, and there is no extension
likewise.
given for this. Yeah.
Likewise, except the termination part.
Here it will be the employee will be terminated. Employee will be terminated in this case. Yeah, they cannot finish the exam actually. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, good. Yeah, then there's the awareness training, and also there's what we call the continuous education. This is targeted at the needs of the enterprise, and at the same time provides a career path for employees based on a continuous improvement, and can also improve the overall security effectiveness within the enterprise. So it basically helps with determining appropriate skills and areas of improvement needed to protect the enterprise. So like, for example, what I think one of us has just mentioned, equipping new or existing security personnel with the skills needed to meet specific existing or emerging security requirements. I guess that is part of it. Then you also can be what is called, for it to be effective, it must be targeted to specific systems, processes, and policies along the enterprise, unique and specific way of doing business. So the balance is, of course, critical. And then, of course, it needs to be properly executed to integrate with the existing programs and initiatives, so that end of day you have employees who have well aligned knowledge to the security concerns of the organization or security issues that would face or would arise in the organization. Okay, so that's good. Moving on to the next slide, the 83. Here we're talking about assurance provisions. I think we looked at that earlier. We're talking about audit. We're talking about compliance. What is the difference? Audit and compliance enforcement. What is the difference?
I mean,
Anybody
audit does not enforce compliance. Audit gives limited assurance whether the compliance is being applied, but it does not enforce it.
Okay. Anybody else with a different
audit, audit purpose of the purpose of audit is to ensure conformance. Actually, that's my view. Actually, the audit is a process that will ensure conformance against your defined standards or process or policies. Actually, and compliance talks about your how your organization responds to those defined process, whether they are fully compliant or whether there is a partially or non-compliant or those kind of things.
Yes, also the responsibility, that to enforce compliance, it is management responsibility to ensure that the company is compliant. It's not audit responsibility to ensure. They can verify whether the company is compliant, but they cannot enforce. This is purely management responsibility, and all employees as well.
So basically, audit validates whether the compliance is being followed, whereas the governance is basically, which enforce compliance, basically, I believe.
Yeah, you have the 3 lines of defense. If you look at in risk management, the 3 lines of defense, there's the first line that is the business, the second line is the compliance team, and the third line is audit. So audit comes in as level 3. They just are to verify that level 1 and 2 are working as intended. So they don't enforce, they just verify that compliance, there's adherence to the rules and regulations. So in this particular case, we say audits, which are both internal and external, are essential resources in strategy development, whether it's internal audit or external audit. And they're one of the main processes to determine the deficiencies in from the control and compliance standpoint. And I think that's what we've just mentioned. They focus on policy, compliance, people, process, and technology. And we usually have enterprises being required to file audits and other reports with the regulatory agencies. And of course, the reports do contain useful intelligence regarding monitoring information relevant to information security. So it is important that they are available to the information security manager. So when we talk about compliance enforcement, yeah, like we said, basically, because violations are an ongoing matter, it's important to have procedures to handle them as part of the strategy. So support from senior management is very critical. That determines the seriousness or otherwise of compliance. So you realize in organizations where senior management is not supportive, or senior management treats control issues as casually, then that trickles down to the organization, to the staff, and that's where you find now loopholes being taken advantage of by the third parties. So if there's lack of commitment at the top, it becomes difficult to enforce compliance across the enterprise. So you need to encourage voluntary compliance as part of the strategy. Then, of course, we talk about the 100% compliance may not be required in all situations, but it may be prudent to prioritize compliance requirements, focusing on areas of greatest risk and impact. So you look at the areas that have the greatest risk and impact, of course, out of risk assessment, so that you don't over focus on areas that are not of risk and forget about those that are of significance. So looking at the next slide, 84, here we're talking about the action plan to implement the strategy. When you implement the strategy with an action plan, this results into a information security program. So the program, we are saying, basically is essentially the project plan to implement and establish ongoing management of some parts of the strategy. So we have what we call a gap analysis, which is required for various components of the strategy previously discussed, such as maturity levels, control objectives, and each risk and impact objective. Analysis, it helps identify the steps needed to move from the current state to the desired state to achieve the defined objectives. Then we have also the action plan metrics. So this is the plan of action to implement the strategy, which requires methods to monitor and measure progress and the achievement of milestones. Okay. Then the intermediate goals. So here we say for a number of organizations, a variety of specific near-term goals that align with overall information security strategy can be defined once the overall strategy has been completed. So it's usually based on the impact analysis, determination of critical resources, etc. Okay, so that is on the BI, the action plan to implement the strategy. So when we talk about gap analysis, Just moving on to the 85, there's the methods that can be used, what we call the CMMI method for gap analysis. So that helps with identifying, maybe it has the 3 elements, the strategy methods, the strategy elements. It has the security elements, and it also has the awareness and compliance elements within it. And you may just want to check on that. CMMI basically means capability maturity model for integration, CMMI. So CMMI or other methods can be used to assess the gap between current and desired state. Some typical areas or areas that can be assessed, or basically would be, like I said, strategy elements, security elements, the awareness and compliance elements. So for strategy, I'll just pick a few. You look at security strategy with senior management, the acceptance and support, policies that are complete and consistent with strategy, complete standards for relevant, or whether the complete standards for relevant, consistently, or maintained policies. The other area you can look at under CMMI or other methods include the security elements. So here we are talking about, we talk about the effective controls that have been designed, implemented, and maintained. Also look at the security metrics and monitoring processes in place, as well as then testing, business continuity, and the disaster recovery plan. Okay. Then there's the element of the areas that need to be looked at. The other one is the awareness and compliance. Under this area, you look at the adequate security awareness and training of all users. I think we've talked about that exhaustively. You look at the developments in place that would help in addressing of security issues with third-party service providers. And under that angle also, there's the timely resolution of non-compliance issues and other variances. How timely do these are non-compliant issues resolved within the enterprise? Okay. So then we look page 86, slide 86. Here we're talking about the action plan metrics. They are what we talk of, the defining metrics and the monitoring metrics. Defining metrics are basically useful for different parts of the enterprise. They are basically, when defining information security metrics, it's just important to ensure that what is being measured is relevant to provide the information necessary for making decisions. So as you define, then you verify that what is being measured is relevant. You could be measuring things which are not relevant. So it is critical to define what decisions must be made and who makes them. Okay. Define the decisions that are made and who makes them. And then, of course, you need to collaborate with the business owners and management to determine the relevant metrics. I think I've said that because you might be talking about metrics that are not relevant. Then there are those monitoring metrics. Here you consider how the metrics will be used for ongoing monitoring and measuring of of progress. Okay, so one or more of the methods used can be determined. Used to determine the current state can be used to track the changes and monitor progress over time. So use CMMI method to define current state objectives. So it's a commonly used approach to define both the current state and the objectives. So the process assessment method to perform ongoing analysis can also help determine the progress towards achieving the goals. So we are approaching the final slides. We have about 20 minutes. Let's have our questions again so that I confirm that everybody is around. This is page number 87. I hope we are all there.
Yes.
Okay, page number 87. The gentleman, are you there?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay, good. The most important consideration in developing security policies is that, which one? 1 minute. The most important consideration in developing security policies.
I would say D.
D, option D.
Okay, so you are saying option D, the correct answer. Do you want to change or you want to stick to D?
Why stay with D? Thank you.
Okay, so the correct answer is A. The most important consideration in developing security policies is that they are based on a threat profile.
And how's that?
Sorry? Sorry, you're asking?
I
Did
mean,
someone ask a question?
somebody asked why is that A? I mean, I can understand that they need to be based on threat profile, but I've seen situations when we had policies, security policy, and they were not applied because people did not understand them.
Hello. Oh, sorry, Roy, I got disconnected. Will you be able to repeat that?
Oh, yeah, the answer is A.
It was me saying, I was just saying that, you know, that for me, A is okay because it needs to be based on threat profile, but I've seen, you know, security policies being developed, and but they were not applied because people did not understand them. So for me, that's why for me, D had higher value.
All right. All right. Thank you.
Okay, but here the question is, why do you develop what is the consideration for developing policies? The policies are developed based on the threat profile. So
Yes.
yes, so that is the reason. So employees would not be reading and understanding policies during development. So when you're developing the policies, the employees will not be reading them. So here you just take note that it is during developing policies. The management cannot sign them off when they're under development. Yeah, so the answer is A. Maybe let's look at other progress indicators. That was what we'll call progress indicators for the security strategy. We have the critical success factors, key performance indicators, and we have the key goal indicators. I guess I'll just talk through them. Each plan of action will benefit from adopting or developing an appropriate set of performance indicators, defining what is the critical success factor, setting agreed upon key goal indicators. So I guess that is what we can have a look at. Say, if you look at what they're talking about here, Sarbanes-Oxley, this is an American regulation. Here, key goal indicators would be defining clear objectives and achieving consensus on the goals that are essential to develop meaningful metrics. The success factors would be to identify processes, procedures, structures, and technologies which develop an appropriate testing regime. That process should be in place, or determining resources and testing procedures to successfully complete required tests. So if you have those in place, that would help you then determine how successful you are or not. Then we have what we call the key performance indicators, the KPIs. These are performance factors that are necessary to help achieve objectives. So it shows the control effectiveness, it shows the progress in controls, and it shows the results of testing the control effectiveness. So basically with the narratives, they are straightforward, I guess. The key goals indicators, what are the key performance indicators? Key performance indicators are basically factors that show you whether you are on track or not. Success factor or success criteria will tell you what it is that you need to do to be considered to have succeeded. So then we have what we call the metrics. Slide 89, the metrics. We call them tactical metrics. There are those that would give strategic information, and there are those that would give technical security data. So senior management basically would want a summary of information of a strategic nature, which, for instance, would give the significant emerging risk that may impact the achievement of business objective. So, for instance, that would be progress according to plan and budget, significant changes in risk and possible impacts to business objectives, results of a disaster recovery testing, audit results, or what we would call regulatory and compliance status. That would fall under what is considered as strategic information. Then when it comes to the technical security data, here what management would want to know, senior management, are the vulnerabilities can result. And in this particular case, what I've seen with many organizations, the results are not customized in a manner that the senior management can consume them. I know technology guys have a tendency of coming up with presenting results or outcomes that the ordinary user, the line manager or the senior management cannot consume. So if that output cannot be consumed by senior management, then they'll also not be able to help or to offer help. So you need to create that output report in a manner that can make sense to senior management. That's a challenge I normally see with the technical stuff. You come up with the reports on vulnerability scans, but nobody else can understand what you're saying. So it becomes very difficult for the senior management to help you. When you talk about server configuration standards and compliance, again, need to be customized in a manner that is user-friendly to the senior management. Intrusion detection systems or results or firewall log analysis, you need to be able to communicate this output to your senior management so that they understand in a language that is non-technical, much as the output is technical. Okay. Slide number 90, creating useful security metrics. Here we are saying that useful information security management metrics are often difficult to design and implement. And I think I've just been alluding to that. So it's important to avoid information of little value, such as a focus on IT vulnerabilities obtained using automated scans without knowing whether the threat really exists. So the volume of data at times would just make it difficult to see the bigger picture. So you need to remember when developing IS management metrics, avoid information of little value that can result in gathering too much information. Like I was saying, develop processes to distill technical data to a more effective form. Analyze available metrics to determine their relevance. So that also would help in improvements in the overall monitoring. So I think that's what I've just said. The output should be relevant and useful to know so that you communicate effectively. For instance, if you talking about how many packets were dropped by the firewalls, this does not shed light to the enterprise or potential impact. What does it mean? So IT management may find it useful, but the other teams, information security management, might not find it useful. On the other hand, when you know the amount of times it takes to recover from a critical service after a major incident, it's more likely to be extremely useful to all parties. So depending on, you have to understand your business, you have to understand how to communicate, and you have to understand what to communicate as part of now the strategy rollout. Now, action plan, page 91. We'll have a few questions towards the end so that we finish up program. We're almost done. I think I'll just move slightly faster so that we can catch up. For most enterprises, a variety of specific goals that align with the security strategy can be defined. So we have what we call specific near-term goals that align with overall information security and can be defined after the overall strategy is completed. So these are as listed here. We have the near-term goals and milestones that are required as part of the action plans. We have the aids prioritization of remedial activities to achieve the goals, long-term desired state, and strategy.
Roy, you are in which
Sorry?
slide? Which slide?
Number 91.
We still see 89.
Oh,
I
89,
see 91.
You can
I
see
can
91.
It's a refresh issue.
Can I?
Roy, if you can just go back to the previous slide and come back, I think it will refresh for Raj as well.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Is it
Now
okay
I
now?
could see. Yeah. Now I could see 91. Yeah. Thanks.
Oh, 91.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah, please shout in case there's your delay. There's a delay. Just let me know. Yeah. So, but anyway, we're almost there. So we're talking about the action plan, intermediate goals, and I said most enterprises. For most enterprises, a variety of specific near-term goals that align with the overall information strategy can be defined after the overall strategy is complete. So the near-term goals that align with the overall information security strategy can be defined after the overall strategy is completed. And I've just put them down there. The near-term goals and milestones are required as part of the action plans. They are based on the business impact analysis determination of the business critical resources. They help with prioritization of remedial activities to achieve the goals. The long-term desired state must be clearly defined to ensure alignment with shorter-term goals and end goals. So basically what we are saying here is that it's important that strategy and long-range plans serve to integrate the near-term tactical activities. And many security managers have discovered that numerous unintegrated solutions implemented in response to a series of crises become costly and difficult to manage. So that's the reason why we need to have then these near-term goals that align with overall IS strategy. After the overall strategy is implemented. Okay, so then we also have next, let me then, I'll move forward and backward so that we can have everybody on the same page. I'm now on 92, are we all there?
Yes.
Okay. Cassie, are you there?
Sorry, I'm still seeing 91. Maybe you can go back and then do it again.
Let me go back and bring it forward. Are you there now?
No, I still see 91. Sorry.
Now I'm also on 91.
Okay. 92?
Not for me.
Nope, not for me either.
You're still in 91?
Yes.
Yes.
Maybe you go to 93. Maybe then we'll stop. Yes, now I see
Now I
92.
can see.
Okay, so I go to 93 so that I come back to 92. I don't know, how do you explain that? Is it a time zone issue? Is it there's something called, I can't remember the name in technology.
Yes, now
It's
I'm
called,
seeing 93. So I guess we need to go back to 92 first.
it's called lag in technology.
Yeah, lag time or something like that is.
So are you
Can
in
I
92?
suggest, Troy, maybe next
Yes.
time, maybe put the file on Google Drive or any one of the, instead of keeping it on the laptop, put it on one of the cloud storage options, and then you can do the presentation from there. So maybe the lag will not be as prominent.
Oh, okay.
Just something to try out next time.
Okay, yeah, because
and it becomes easier for you to share the file also with all of us after that.
Oh, okay. I don't know why the lag is happening when we are just about to finish. So are we all in 92? Or
No,
No, I'm
on
seeing
91
93
again.
now. Oh,
91.
So whoever has 93 has an advantage to answer the questions because you have a lot of time to answer questions. Number 93 has the questions.
but I
Okay,
didn't
maybe
see the slide 92.
I didn't see.
Okay, let me talk about let me talk about 92. 92 basically is talking about risk management and risk assessment.
Are you still in?
Sorry?
Oh, now I see it 92.
Now I can
Thank
see
you.
it. Yes.
Oh, now you can see 92.
Security models identify assess threat. Oh my God.
Okay, so 92.
Really?
Is somebody talking to us or talking somewhere else?
No, sorry for the interruption. I was talking.
Okay, it's okay. Oh, you're talking at home. It's okay. It's allowed. I know it's almost time. Risk management and assessment. Basically, risk is to identify, assess, and treat. So that is the approach normally to risk assessment. You identify the risk, you assess, then you treat the risk. So basically, identification of the risk is about knowing what the risk is. Assessment is to determine the likelihood of occurrence and impact if it does crystallize. Then you make a determination of treatment. How do you want to stay with it? Do you want to outsource it? Do you want to mitigate it? So that's basically what this slide talks about. So I'll want to move to the next one so that because I know our time is running out. Our next one basically is questions. So I hope everybody will get that, 93.
Yes, I can see.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. So the most important requirement for gaining management commitment to information security program is to do what? The most important requirement for gaining management commitment to information security program is to do what?
Well,
What is the correct answer?
Option D is the right answer. D. Yeah, D is the answer. Yeah.
Okay. Yes, D is the correct answer. Demonstrate support for the desired outcome. So that's the most effective approach. Of course, business would want to see what is in it for them. That's what they keep asking you. Okay, so let's look at the next one. Risk management assessment, that is 94. I think I just mentioned that in slide number 92. Formal risk assessment, I guess you are familiar with this, is accomplished by identifying, then looking at the likelihood and determining the exposure. So I guess that one is straightforward. So I can move on to the next one. Risk management factors. We have the business impact analysis, the resource analysis. So you're talking about, when you talk about business impact analysis, there's the threat analysis or threat assessment, vulnerability assessment, the insurance, and the support and assurance providers. So there are several factors that come into play: the resource analysis, outsourced service providers. These are all affected when you talk about risk assessment. The business impact analysis, just basically to understand the impact of a loss. And it's important to do BIA. It's an important component of a strategy. It helps address potential adverse impacts because risk does not result in a appreciable impact. So that is on the impact analysis. Then we have the resource analysis. It's basically similar to DR, disaster recovery planning. It considers the systems, hardware, and software requirements to perform specific organizational requirements. That is resource analysis. Then we have the outsourced services, basically could be onshore or offshore. So it helps enterprises focus on their core competencies. And it's also one of the ways to cut costs. And I think the other line down there is straightforward. Threat assessment helps you determine overall risk assessment. It's an important element of strategic consideration itself. Vulnerability assessment will help you identify the extent of the threat, how vulnerable you are to the threat that the risk that is emerging. Then we talk about insurance. It generally talks about the ensuring the high impact events such as floods, hurricanes, fire, embezzlement, or liability lawsuits. Again, depending on the various jurisdictions, insurance would cover or not cover. Some of them will tell you that is an act of God, so they don't cover them. Others would cover them. So again, I guess it depends on the jurisdiction in which you operate. Other support and assurance providers, this could come in like legal, compliance, audit, procurement, insurance, etc., etc. HR, that is all part of what we'd call support and assurance providers. Now I want to move, we're almost done. This one is a question that at least this one will help. It has several answers. So at least I think most of us will be happy with this. A few years ago, a telecom enterprise paid millions of dollars in fines to a federal commissions. Are we on 96, all of us?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, we're almost done. Don't worry, we're almost done. A few years ago, a telecom enterprise paid millions of dollars in fines to the Federal Communications Commission for a lapse in information security caused by its own employees. 3 employees accused accessed more than 50,000 customer accounts without authorization and extracted their names and social security numbers. They passed this sensitive information to third parties, who then used it to submit over 200,000 handset unlock requests through the telecom online customer portal. What should the telecom enterprise have done to prevent this breach of information security? Select all that apply. At least now here you can select all that apply. It's more than one answer.
Firewall.
For me, BCD.
Starting
BCD.
with D and C and then B.
BCD.
Yes, correct. Yes, it's BCD. Limit access of the customer records to only those who need it. Prepare an appropriate compliance manual for data handling. Train the employees on enterprise privacy policies. Okay, good. That is good. When implementing information security governance, the information security manager is primarily responsible for what?
We're still on the
This
previous slide.
this is number 27 or
97, yes, we are 97 now.
I don't see it yet, sorry.
I can't see 97.
We are still at 96.
Yeah, now we can.
Yes, now I can see it.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, you can see it now?
When
Yes.
Sorry.
Kathy,
This
are
is
you there?
single. This is a multiple option or
Yes, I
single option?
confirmed. Yes, 97. Yes, I confirmed.
Okay, okay, yeah. Yeah, so when implementing information security governance, the information security manager is primarily responsible for
Only one
Only
answer
one
or
answer.
multiple answer?
only one answer.
Only one answer. Okay.
Mhm.
I go with C.
A or C? A.
C.
Yeah,
A.
the correct answer is A.
Okay.
Correct answer is A. The information security manager is, when implementing the information security governance, the information security manager is primarily responsible for developing the security strategy.
Are you sure?
Yes, because what is the explanation is
There should be a steering committee, not the one. Not it's not a one person responsibility.
Yes, exactly.
ISACA
implementation
says so.
of
I think
Yeah,
we
it should.
agree with ISACA for CISM.
Yes, yes. As per ISACA, the security manager is very
Yeah.
powerful.
Yes,
Yes,
it's a one-man
you need to
job.
agree.
Maybe and the bracket we put as per ISACA. Yeah, that's it.
Yes.
This one
Okay.
usually information security manager may not be in a situation to develop the complete security strategy. So their most responsibility is to reinforce or enforce, communicate across the organization.
Yes.
Yeah.
The development will be
information-
much senior people than manager. Yeah.
Correct.
So the
Mostly
reviewing of the strategy, communicating of the strategy, and the final approval of the strategy is the responsibility of the senior management.
Yes. So IS manager only. IS manager only can make sure it is getting complied. Yeah, that's it. He cannot
so
be responsible.
Here the review, communication, and approval. For this question, particular question, the review, B, C, and D are responsibility of senior management. Okay, so that is the answer. So let's go to the other one, 98. We're almost done. 98, are we there?
Not yet.
No.
Yes.
Okay, 98.
Not
I don't know
yet.
why it is. Okay, do I move forward and backward?
4 different time zones. That's why.
Yeah, there are 4 different time zones. Kasia, where are you? Are you in Netherlands?
97. Yes, I'm since slide 97.
Yeah, but where are you located? Are you in Netherlands or Switzerland?
Yes, in Netherlands, yes.
Oh, okay. Okay, so you are in 97.
We are in 98.
So do I move forward and backward?
I'm still 97. What is on this slide 98? Something important?
No,
Yeah, it's a
just
question.
practice question.
I think my
It's a
head
question.
cannot absorb any more questions today.
I think what I'll do then, maybe let me just summarize. Then, because we're almost done anyway, we're actually done. So the rest are just questions. I'll submit them when I send the slides over. I think that should be
Yes,
okay, isn't
please.
it? Yeah, I think that should be okay. So let me just summarize, because the rest are just questions. So we've actually finished the session, and I guess that is they were just questions to just give you some flavor of how the exam would be. But we've covered the governance, the structure, we've covered the legal, regulatory, contractual requirements, we've covered the strategy, we've covered the frameworks and the strategic planning. So I guess we can close here. If there's no comment, we can close here. Then I will make arrangements to send over these slides to you, to all of you, so that you can then now prepare for the next session. So thank you very much. It was nice, very interactive session today. Just want to thank you for giving this opportunity to be your facilitator. And you, as I said, we don't have, nobody has monopoly of information. It is only through interaction that we get to understand this topic, which is very wide. So thank you very much. If there's no comment, have a blessed day.
Thank you, Roy. Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you all. See you next week. Yeah.
See you
Yes,
next
see you
week.
next week. Thank you. Thank you very
Thank you.
much.
Everyone, yeah, let's catch up next week.
Thank you.
Sure. Bye.
Okay.